do some scouting, man. Guys come in dressed in a kind of way and get their jackets off and everything. But thank you so much for joining us today, man. I mean, Carmelo Anthony told me to tell you hello. That's your boy. I see him a lot through my travels as well. So one of the things, you have a lot in common with Patterson.
Yeah.
You do. Jimmy Salmon, a lot of people that's here today told me to tell you hello. You've probably seen a lot of people as well. But, you know, I had a chance to watch you when I was a head college coach at the time when you was coming to high school. So we'll get to that a little bit later as well. But first question, talk a little bit about your journey to where you are now. But talk about the beginning. Let's talk about the beginning of high school and some of the influences.
I mean, for me, it started, I'm from Jersey. My first introduction to high school, I would say, is at Steiner. I went there because Dante Jones is obviously an NBA player, a former NBA player. He was, you know, he was the person who gave me that goal of trying to make it to the NBA. He was like that the next person in front of me that was just like, I want to be like him. And when I was in high school, he was like that stepping stone. So I tried to go to the same school he went to. I didn't live in a school district. Long story short, they ended up kicking me out, and I ended up going to Lakewood High School down in Lakewood, New Jersey. And basketball, football, baseball was always my thing. I was always an athlete, but I wasn't a student. And I didn't have the grades to go to college. I had all the scholarships, basketball scholarships, all the football scholarships, but I didn't have any grades. So when I tried to figure out a solution, my parents, Jimmy Salmon, who was my players coach, AAU coach, they came up with a solution, introduced me to Danny Hurley, which is now the UConn basketball coach. He was the coach at St. Benedict's Prep in Newark at the time, and they came up with a solution to help me become better as a young man and get better grades. And obviously basketball, sports was going to take care of itself, and fortunately it worked out. It worked out for me.
And for you guys who don't know who Dante Jones is one of the elite players that come out of the state of New Jersey. He started at Rutgers. He's one of the first guys to transfer to Duke. Duke wasn't taking transfers at that particular time. And he played, I think, 12 years in the NBA, you know, as well. You talk about Jimmy Salmon, who was here today, and I know the impact he had as well. Yes, every round of applause for Jimmy Salmon as well. You know, as New Jersey coaches stick together, Coach Hurley and all of us, and those guys as well. Talk about when you got to St. Benedict and how was that there? How did that change your life and ultimately project you becoming an NBA draft pick out of high school?
Well, St. Benedict's was the first place that didn't look at me as an athlete. It was everywhere, you know, in my public school, I guess you would call it so good. I was really good at basketball and football, so it allowed people to see me as the athlete and kind of like let me slide under the radar as far as my academics. And it just wasn't the best for me. They weren't challenging me academically, they weren't challenging me socially. The only way they saw to get something out of me was what I could do for the school as far as scoring touchdowns or, you know, shooting the basket. So when I got to St. Benedict's, it gave me a completely different perspective of how good I could be as a person as well as academically. I started taking classes serious, started going to class, period. And, you know, I got the scholarship I wanted to get, but it was hard work. It was something that I was, you know, I obviously didn't want to do. And it's like working out. Nobody wants to work out, but everybody wants to be in shape. So once you figure out how to, you know, I would say take it day by day, the rest is easy.
Let's talk about some of the mental and physical challenges you had going into that 2004 NBA draft. Did you know the position you're going to be drafted in, you know, as well? And talk about how was the mental preparation, and when did you get on the NBA scouts radar?
So I didn't get on the scouts radar until after the McDonald's All-American game. I thought when MVP, that was like the turning point of, you know, going into that week. I was going to college. There was a lot that I was going to college. I leave that week playing really well. It was like, well, here's the opportunity to go out of high school. And for me, that was my goal was always to play in the NBA. And I did want to go to Carolina and play college basketball, but I just thought for myself, like if my goal is to make it to the NBA, I might as well try to do it as soon as I can while I have, you know, while my name is hot. A lot of in basketball we have a term is like you got to go when you're hot, and if you don't go when you're hot and you wait too long, you get injured. Coaches, different recruits come in. You never know what position you can fall in.
Well, if you guys didn't know, in the 2004 NBA draft, he was drafted by the Hornets, number 18 pick in the first round of the NBA draft at that particular time. In today's culture, being an 18 pick, a lot of guys don't come out now unless they know they're going to be a lottery pick. You know, was that something you thought about, or just say, I want to go while I'm hot, no matter where I go, what position I go in?
Yeah, I just wanted to get drafted. I wanted to play in the NBA. I didn't care what pick I was, honestly. I didn't really think about being the #1 pick or the last pick. All I knew was if my name was called, I had an opportunity to play and live out my dream. So I just went for it.
One of the things Tim Thomas, of course, people know Tim Thomas is here. One of the things he didn't come out of high school, he said, Darryl, Coach, I'm not going to be a lottery pick, so I'm going to go to Villanova for a year. And ultimately, it worked out for him to become a lottery pick as well. Let's talk about transition. I deal with a lot of pro athletes who are transitioning careers, and they have problems doing that as well when the clock is stopped. But one of the transitions I want to talk to you about is when you was with the New York Knicks and that trade. Talk about how did that impact your career going on to play with LeBron James?
I mean, it impacted my career, and I would say great as a team player and great from a championship perspective. But selfishly, as an individual, it kind of took away from what I was doing in New York because I didn't have the ball in my hands as much. I wasn't controlling or creating offense as much. And for me, that's what I like to do more than anything. Everybody likes to score, obviously. And but at the same time, it took the pressure off of myself with playing with great players like LeBron, Kyrie, and Kev, Tristan, RJ, Channing, and these dudes. It was just Shump, Kyrie. It was so much easier to just let the game come to me because I have so much great talent around me that I don't have to be the guy.
Yeah, I had to run Iman Shumpert off my campus when I was the head coach at Clark Atlanta. He's at Georgia Tech. He stayed chasing the girls. I had to run him off my campus as well. Let's talk about leadership and accountability. Talk about some of the things you learned from LeBron James in that category, those two categories.
I mean, one thing I learned about LeBron is he leads by example. Every single day he's in the gym, he's working on his body, figuring out how he can get 1% better, and he does it, literally does it, whether it be recovery, whether it be weight room, whether it be on the court, watching film. He literally leaves zero time left to chance to where he's not getting better. And that's one thing, to me, I admire about him more than anything because he stays with it. He doesn't get caught up in the glitz and glamour of even who he is, which is obviously at the peak of our game for a very long time. So when you see somebody of that caliber and that stature working as hard as he works, you can only, it's either, get down or lay down. And for me, I wanted to win championships, so I got done.
I remember I was talking with LeBron James a little bit about Kobe, Jimmy Savile, coached Kobe Bryant as well. And he was talking about the Olympic experience when those guys would go and hang out. Kobe's at the gym, they come in 5 in the morning, Kobe's going to the gym. So LeBron and those guys have totally changed their mindset during that Olympic era as well. And I think LeBron learned a lot from looking at Kobe Bryant as well during that time. Let's talk a little bit about mental health. A lot of these athletes, as I mentioned, I deal with a lot of pro athletes. When they transition to careers, they have a lot of challenges when the clock is stopped. No direction, no what their careers are going to be.